Hi everyone, we're back again and welcome to episode 170. I'm Mario and here with me is Pooper.
Hey,
As a tradition, we're gonna do the seasonal spring 2024 first impression. So we're gonna pick 10 shows and basically gonna discuss about them and rank them at the end.
right. Same as always. Rank
And we
them rather than rate them. 1 to 10,
yeah,
1 being the best, 10 being the worst.
And at the end, we're gonna pick three shows that we're gonna, like stay until the end of the season.
Yeah, the wrap up episode that we typically do. I feel like in past years when we actually did episodes throughout each season, sometimes weekly, sometimes bi-weekly, depending on
Yeah,
what era of double cross anime we're talking about. In those days, we were quicker to decide on 3 shows like right away because we had to, because we were going to be discussing them on a regular basis. But
yeah,
now, while the shows that we rank more highly, that's probably a good indicator of what we'll end up watching and discussing in 2.5, 3 months time. There can be some surprises. Like for
yeah,
example, just last season, winter 2024, there was the Great Pretender mini arc that came out.
yeah. I think that's a contribution from the fact that a lot of show like from Netflix that air a bit later, like a month or a few weeks later. So that's why, you know,
Yeah, anime airs at different times. I should say, anime series premiere at different times now that streaming is a factor. But I mean, it's
Mhm.
not just streaming services that cause that to happen. For example, the new seasons of My Hero Academia and Demon Slayer are both premiering not this month
Yeah,
but next month in
yeah.
May.
That's so weird.
So
That's still so weird to me.
I mean, they probably do it. I don't really know why they do it. They've got their reasons. It has to do with like viewership numbers, and then if they start in mid May, then the first vacation that Japanese kids get, since their school starts in April, perhaps it'll
Hmm.
coincide with some of the episodes airing, or I don't know.
Yeah.
Really couldn't say. But as for this season, the 10 shows we've got here, I wouldn't even necessarily say that they're you know close to the 10 best that this season has to offer. There's a good amount of shows that we're not about to discuss,
Yeah.
um, which are pretty interesting. One of them you
Hmm.
mentioned before we started recording, Sentai Dai Shikaku, or
Yeah.
like Loser Ranger or Ranger Reject,
Yeah.
whichever title you want to go with. That's also one that I had my eye on. I don't know if there are any others here that you like regret not covering.
Yeah. No, that's why. Yeah. Yesterday when I watched all of our 10 show, I just watched a few more to see any of the others that pique my interest. And yes, Sentai Daishikaku or Goku Loser Ranger is one of these titles that I really have fun, at least for the first 20 minutes.
I forgot the Go Go when I was listing its various titles. Go Go
Yeah.
Loser Ranger does have a certain
Yeah.
ring to it.
Yeah. Yeah. I agree. But
Uh, apart
that's
apart
Yep.
from that
Just
show,
go.
any others?
I just watched one of the other show, Disappearance. And
The
let me
Murders and
look at
Mysteries one,
yeah,
right?
mysterious disappearances, and it not so good.
Yeah, I thought about uh, watching the first episode of that one, but in addition to my relative lack of interest, there were also some first impressions that I saw like floating around online that weren't particularly favorable.
Yeah.
But that show aside, I do have some others that I'm interested in watching that I have not yet seen. For example, the Bartender reboot. I did
Right.
try
Yeah.
the original Bartender anime when it came out. Well, not when it came
Hmm.
out, but like 10 years ago or so. I tried the Bartender anime from 2008, and I didn't get into it, but I don't know. Maybe this one will be different. Then
All right.
Sandland, the
Yep.
adaptation of the Toriyama manga, rest in peace.
Hmm.
And there's also TP Bon, which is a time travel adventure series, um, based on a manga, TP Bon, by the creator of Doraemon. That's
Huh.
getting an anime on Netflix in May. And then part two is supposed to air in July, if memory
All
serves. I
right.
don't know if this is going to be like two mini movies or if they're actually two like miniature seasons.
Yeah.
Not entirely sure, but animation is by Bones, and
Hmm.
Fujiko Fujio, the mangaka, is somebody whose work I'm not very familiar with, but I'm interested in.
Oh. Yep. I know about them. So
Yeah,
like
you read more
I
manga than I
yep.
did, like in your childhood. So you read
Yep.
Doraemon, I assume.
Yep. I read the Doraemon. I read Sup I think Perman. It's like a kid version of Superman from them as
Is it like a
well, and
parody?
it's it's more like a homage.
Okay. Wait, I think it's isn't it like Paman?
Yep.
Paaman? Yes.
PAA.
Okay, I'm familiar vaguely.
Yep. And yeah, and there's a few other show that I still want to watch though, like Tonari no Yokai-san.
Right. I remember that being on your list of suggestions for us to
Yeah,
cover. Yeah,
and even
that
like
seems. I like those sorts
the
of like light supernatural shows.
yeah, and even the one just pop up in Netflix. The OVA, the Cream Variation.
Yeah, that I'm not so sure about as far as being interested, but it's something. I think it's just six
Yep.
episodes, but they're double length, if I
Yep.
remember reading correctly.
Yep. And it's six different stories, and it's from which studios, which is always a draw for me.
Well, hopefully, yeah. That's an anthology series. That's pretty interesting.
Mhm.
Could be worth watching. If you watch an episode or two, you can let me know whether it's any good, because I probably
Yep.
won't watch it otherwise.
All right, cool. But now we can get back to our 10 shows and talk about them,
Right, and we'll
shall
do it
we?
alphabetically as always.
Yep, let's do that. All right, the first one on the list is Astro Note, a
Yes.
late addition to the list, by the way.
Yeah. What was the I can't remember. There was a show that I initially had all oh
Yep.
yeah, Hananoi Kun no Yamai or something like that.
All right,
It
Hananoi.
was just total trash. Um, Nothing more to say about it really. So yeah, we replaced it with Astro Note because I had seen Astro Note and I cheated and was like, "Hey, this is pretty good," or at least I thought it was pretty good. But personally, I have a feeling as though you didn't enjoy this. That's my guess.
All right, I enjoy it. All right, it's funny that I watched Astro Note in the middle of like watching like three after watching like three four others first episodes. And when I get into the middle of Astronaut, I was like, I don't really remember how it begins. So I come back to it, and I see like a completely different show, like
Right.
a sci-fi and something, and I was like, I think that's something is going on here. So yeah, when it get into the end of the episode, I wasn't that surprised to learn it it makes the show a whole lot better in my eyes. So yes, I do enjoy it.
Okay.
I did enjoy it.
Huh. Interesting. I kind of thought that there would be what was the name of that show that was set in Ikebukuro? It was the Sherlock Rakugo show. Started. I think it also
Yeah,
started with a K. What was that?
Sherlock. All right, Sherlock Kakugo. Um,
It was
Murder
the
First, right? Undead Girl Murder First. Is that the
no,
one
no.
that
It
you?
was it was years ago, and I did a first impression on it for the
Yep,
blog, and I was like,
yep.
"Wow, this is great." And you said, "What are you talking about? This is terrible." Oh, Kabukicho Sherlock.
All right, yep.
That's what it was. I thought that maybe with Astronaut we would have a Kabukicho Sherlock situation where I was really hot on something and you were like really cold, you know.
No, I, I
Um,
I I enjoyed this well enough. Like some, At least something different from the usual.
Well, it is different from the usual in that it is kind of retro. Um,
Yep. Yep.
but since we've been watching retro anime recently as part of our like look back at the pre 1990s era,
Yep. Yep.
we have recently been watching Maison Ikoku, just a handful of episodes, and this show bears a pretty large debt, I think, to that show in
I
particular,
agree.
but also to Rumiko Takahashi rom coms more generally.
Yep. I agree with that
In
because
fact,
I.
Takumi,
Yep.
the main character from Astro Note, has the same apartment number as Godai from Maison Ikoku. They both live in apartment number 5 in their
I
respective
see.
boarding houses.
I see. And
And there's no way that's a coincidence.
and that explains as well that I think that the layout of that the apartment that they share is pretty much the same. So like
um,
they have like two stories and they have like a of like like three or four rooms like in each level. I think like three rooms.
well, that's true, but in Astro Note, the apartment building has like a communal breakfast area, which I
Yep,
don't
yep, yep,
think
yep,
Maison Ikoku has. And the reason
yep.
that's important is because the main character of Astro Note, Takumi, is a chef, and he gets a
Hmm.
job there just temporarily, it seems, while he looks for better work.
Yep.
But this being an anime and all the characters being so kooky, he's obviously going to get caught up in their lives and their problems, and he'll end up becoming full time, I suppose.
Yep.
Which I'm looking
So
forward to because I think the show's charming enough and weird. I like that it's weird too.
yep. I agree with you, and I I like the fact that like all of these occupants they have like different designs. They just look like a mashup from like from a few different series put in together.
Yeah,
The
the
old man, the
are you talking
father,
about the really old man, like the grandpa who has
yeah,
the proportions of a little kid?
yep,
Yeah, there's that. But there's also the character who's voiced by Tomokazu Sugita. He's the guy with the glasses who has no
yep,
job.
yep, just like one of the characters uh in the other show as well.
Yeah, yeah. Yotsuya from Maison Ikoku is the same sort of character
Yep,
as Tomohiro from Astro Note. And then you have Teruko, who's the idol with pink hair.
yep,
And I really enjoy the difference in personality between her when she puts on a performance as an idol and her when she's just lounging around the house. Uh,
yep,
and she's got her glasses and the straight, like uncared for, I guess, hair or unstyled, I should say, and just a plain white tank top. She is the Akemi of this show, but less, naked.
yeah. I agree, and I agree. I so far enjoy her antique. I actually enjoy like everyone's antique at the moment. Um, it not only Maison Ikoku, but there is another show that remind me very strongly of is Love Hina. I watched
Reminds you of
like two.
Love Hina.
Yep.
Interesting. I mean, that's a harem anime. I don't think this is going to be
Yeah.
that.
Yeah, but it's also about like a guy who come to like who come to stay in this apartment and they have like a variation of other girls and it just absolutely trash. And I was like in between like this show gonna be trash like Love Hina or it's gonna be like a bit better like Maison Ikoku. Uh, it goes for a bit differently, so that's you know that make it apart from these two shows that we just talking about.
Well, I would say
But
it has like the general setup of Ranma with, and I haven't
yep,
even mentioned the play on words where he overhears through her apartment door as her dog, like her poodle, is talking to her because he's an alien. They're
yep,
both aliens,
yep,
and uh, he says that she's a Meeblejin, as in a person from planet Meebo, like somebody from Australia is an Australia gene.
Yep.
uh,
Right. Yeah.
or somebody from America is an Americajin. So she's a Mibojin. But when
Yep.
Takumi overhears it as he's eavesdropping, he hears Mibojin, which means widow, just like
Yep.
Kyoko from My Son Ikoku is a widow. So,
Yep.
I mean, it's very My Son Ikoku esque, but I think also the sci fi beginning, as you alluded to, and end, I guess, the episode's kind of bookended by SF stuff.
Yep.
Um,
But that's
has
the
like
thing.
smacks of Urusei Yatsura, maybe, because that
Yep.
shows sci fi ish.
Yep. From the same author you
Yeah.
just mentioned. Yep. I think this show owed a lot from that. And but that's the thing that I'm a bit worried. That I don't think the sci-fi gonna push to um I feel that the rest of the show gonna be more like, the same. People get to know each other, and uh he get to know more about her, and it less about sci-fi.
Well, there is the alien prince character with the purple hair from the OP who hasn't been introduced yet,
Hmm.
which will
Hmm.
probably keep it on the keep the sci-fi element and the fact that she's an alien relevant. His
Yep.
presence in the show will demand that that gets addressed from time to time. And
Hmm.
also, there's the fact that she's got a mission here on Earth, which is to find a key
Yep.
of some sort. That's what her poodle is like lecturing at her about in that
Yep.
scene in her room towards the end. She's clearly more interested in like human conventions and watching a movie and
Yep.
doing ordinary Earth stuff. But her dog is there to keep her on task. She's got to find a key, which I guess is going to repower their spaceship so they can leave Earth. Is that the plot?
Yep.
Something like that.
I I don't think it's gonna happen anytime soon.
Oh yeah,
I just think that
she can't just
like
leave in episode 2.
yep. I got to think that after like episode 100, they just like randomly found a key and end it, but not anytime soon.
Yeah,
But yeah, that's when she learned how to become like the actual Earth Earthling, and
right.
she enjoy like being maybe just stay on Earth and not go back to her hometown
Well, that
like
would
that.
be a very typical ending. She like falls in love with the guy, or at least he helps her to see the appeal of living on Earth, and she'll kind of fall in love with the planet and the Japan's way of life, I guess. But the reason I don't think the show is going to end that way is because of an interview that I read with the director of this show, who said it's going to get crazier and crazier with each episode until it's unrecognizable by the end.
Wow, that's what I'm looking for actually. So
Yeah.
that actually good news. Wow.
Well, that's just his assessment. He could just be
Yep.
hyping it up, talking it up too much.
Yep.
But that is one of the reasons why I'm interested in this show. Not just because I liked the first episode, which I did, but
Mhm.
because apparently it's going to go bonkers. So we'll see whether that happens.
Yep. And speaking of that, I think I enjoy like I said, I enjoy like all the characters, but it's just the two main characters that I'm not that hot about. I hope that is improved over the time.
I don't. I mean, I like Takumi more than I like Godai
Yep. All
from
right.
My Son Ikoku. Now, if I were to, I've only seen 4 episodes of My Son Ikoku. So if I were to watch, like 40 more, perhaps I would like Godai a lot more than I do right now. But if I were
Mhm.
to just take the first episode of each show, I would say Takumi comes out like ahead in that
Yep.
comparison.
Not only because he can cook.
Well, that it is important that he's actually good at something because Godai is good at nothing at all. But
Yep. Yep.
yeah, he's a little bland, I guess, but he does
Yep.
have a useful skill, and he
Mhm.
does seem pretty earnest about like having a crush on Mira.
Mhm.
So he's all right. Yeah, I mean
Yep.
he certainly doesn't have the big personality of the other um, lodgers at the boarding house.
Yep. And I like the fact that like at one point we also think that this is like one of the cooking show, the way that he prepared the cook, and the way that everyone just enjoy cooking it enjoy eating his meal. It feel like one of these healing show that that we used to watch. So like the fact that this show can shift into like a variety of different genre is actually very admirable.
Yeah, hopefully there will be more cooking scenes since that provides, a visual reminder of the fact that the main character is good at something.
Yep, yep, cool. All right, you have any other note before we get into the ranking?
Nope, I'm good. I'll just go ahead and blurt out where I ranked it. For me it was number 2.
Wow. All right. So I had another one that I'm really hot on it and don't know if you are the same as me. So I put that 5 out of 10 for now for Astro Note.
That's pretty
You
good.
get into that show. Yep, yep. I actually think about like 4 or 5, but I end up putting it at 5.
All right. Well, what's next?
All right. Next one is Bok Boukyaku Battery or Oblivion Battery.
Right. Boukyaku or Oblivion because one of the main characters um, came down with
Conveniently.
amnesia,
Yep.
and when he woke up, I guess he had a
Yep.
completely different personality, which involves making a lot of terrible jokes,
Yep.
which are all over this
Like,
episode and
oh,
annoyed the hell out of me.
yeah. Oh, that joke. Not even that, I think. But
He joked a lot
yeah.
about nipples, and there was some toilet humor as well, some poop humor.
Yep. Yep. All right. Let's just start on the positive. I have a few positive before we can go to the negative.
What are they?
Uh, all right. First is the sports show. It's the baseball show, and I no like I really want to see more of like a genuine good sports show. This is not the one though.
Well, in terms of like its depiction of baseball games, it really has the potential to be because I found the production to be pretty strong.
Yep, 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 yep. Agree.
Like not just those first few minutes where it's a flashback to Kei and Haruka's middle school days when they were like an unstoppable battery,
Mm-hmm.
but even during the gags and stuff, and just characters like turning their heads or bowing or walking, simple stuff like that, all animated, pretty well. I like the colors in general. I mean, the show looks good, but it's just not funny, and it really desperately wants to be funny, but it isn't.
Yep, I agree.
I mean, are there any other positives beyond the fact that it's a sports show and that it
Uh,
looks decent?
I like the fact that it starts from the point of view of like of Taro, really uh incompetent. A guy who like kind of the outsiders, looking up to our main character Kei and Haruka, and now have a chance to like become friend of them. And I really like his expression whenever like Kei making a really terrible joke. He was like, I'm not buying that. What is it? You are terrible. You don't look like the one that I know.
Yeah, you know what they say: never meet your heroes, because they might have gotten amnesia and had their personalities reset and forgotten everything they knew about baseball, and also, you know, tried to become a stand-up comedian.
Yep.
I wasn't sure what to make of the fact that Tato is the point of view character. I mean, it doesn't
Yep.
really hurt the episode, I don't think. Um, it might be to its benefit actually because it gives you a little bit of distance from Kei, so that he's, for example, if Haruka were the point of view character, then you would get probably more scenes with Kei since they're the Oblivion Battery. They're like partners for life. So maybe it's a
Yep.
good thing that Tato is the person from whose perspective we're seeing everything unfold. I wonder though if they'll continue that in future episodes. I have no idea. Not having read
I,
this
I
manga.
I don't think they're gonna do that. I just look at the cast list. There are five main characters, so I think it will switch between these but this character point of view.
Really? You think they'll switch? That's interesting.
Yeah, I think that. But the thing is, like the way it's set up, I don't really like it to find out. It's just a part of, like it is game obviously. Like he doesn't want anything to do with baseball, but at the end of the day, he still joined the baseball club and he still, uh try to catch Haruka pitch. So it like at the end of this episode, it's basically go back to the same thing.
Yeah. There's no doubt based on this episode that it's going to be a full on baseball show.
Yeah,
Which begs the question why it was necessary for them to have this little twist on it. I
I
thought the same
agree.
thing
And
about. Do you remember Remain, that water polo show from like 2 years ago?
yep.
That also had a character with amnesia, but instead of being a comedian, he was like, I don't know, really misunderstood and like edgy, and he spoke
Mhm.
harshly to everybody, which isn't much better, honestly. Though I did
Yeah,
really like the
that
first episode of Remain. That problem didn't emerge until later, in my opinion.
yeah. I think the thing is that it doesn't feel really believable that Kay just like just you know at one point just like say like I don't remember any of the baseball top who were you and all that, and he still function like normal, like he still go to the school, he still remember his name, he still remember his daddy and mommy, and it just so convenient to forget all about baseball and still function like normal.
Yeah. Well, that's the issue with all amnesia plots,
Yep,
regardless
yep,
of what kind of show they're a part of. It's just, it's
yep,
obvious that it's a tool for the writer to explore a character from two different perspectives, I guess, two different sides
yep,
of their personality, two different whatever.
yep,
It's never very elegant, and it's definitely not very elegant here.
yep. To be fair though, like K characters we see from Haruka point of view that uh when he was young he also like a whiner, but
Yeah.
he keep improving himself to the point that like he surpassed any of these, even like surpassed Haruka in terms of like running around the uh practice and all that and become like a what they call the mastermind behind
The
uh
mastermind?
yeah, like
The
he
ace?
learned about, nah, not the ace, like he learned about all of these others opponents
Oh,
team members.
like a genius or a prodigy or
Yeah. I think just the mind behind uh the baseball club, and now you know
now
it
not so
it looked
much.
like he, yeah, and not so much, but it looked like he gonna like start over again doing the whole thing again, and we can really see he like go from zero to hero again.
Yeah, so my question is why didn't the author just write a story where Haruka was really gifted and Kei was just mediocre, and then over the course of their high school baseball career, Haruka being such a strong pitcher would motivate Kei to up his game and to go through the same process that he's about to go through as an amnesiac, but without the amnesia.
Yep.
I don't know. I There's probably a lot of people who like amnesia stories because it is kind of like a a glimpse through the mirror, so to speak, like another possibility for your life. What if you could do things over again, without remembering what you did the first time? There's probably like a deep seated appeal for that sort of stories in a lot of people's heads, but
Yep.
I could take them or leave them. Mostly leave them.
Yep. So I must say that production wise, I feel that this episode is strong, but this is one of these episode that I least uh willing to watch more of it.
Yeah.
So I put that 10 out of 10 because of that.
Yeah, I thought you might dump this in last place. For me, it's number 8.
All right. So
When I
yeah,
first
Tim
watched it, I
was
thought, "Oh, this is gonna be last," but there were others that took its place.
yeah.
All
Yep.
right.
All right. Just get uh let's get to the next show. Seiyuu Euphonium,
Okay.
Hibike Euphonium 3.
Right. Yeah, we're back. Okay, so
Yep.
in the Hibike Euphonium timeline, it's season 1, and then season 2, and then I
Yep.
think Listen the Bluebird, and then Chikai no finale, and
Yep.
then Ensemble Contest Hen, which is from last year, which is the beginning of their third year, where Kumiko becomes the president.
Yep.
So she doesn't actually become president in the first episode of this third season. She becomes president
Yep.
in the 1 hour movie that was released in 2023. This is a continuation of that.
Yep.
It's hard. Like sometimes when you haven't watched Hibike Euphonium in a while, and then a new thing comes out for it, you watch it and you're just like flooded with characters that you half remember and half don't, and then they start to get blurred together with the new characters who are being introduced for the first time, and you're like, oh god, I don't think I can keep all these people straight. That kind of happened to me
Yep.
while I was watching this episode.
All right. A few things. First, I watched the movie just like in preparation for the episodes, and it was beautiful. It was like like what I remember fully about Hibike Euphonium is all display all that trait. I really love the 1 hour movie,
Yeah.
and also I got the same feeling that you got as well, especially when they throw in the names because oh boy, this is a show that have like 40 odd names, like 40 odd characters, and sometimes they call my first name, sometimes they call my last name, and it's all the chunks. And I'm like one of these few who actually watch every single one of them, even the Bluebird, uh Liz and the Bluebirds, which is kind of like a spin-off.
Yeah, the
And
two central characters of Liz are present in, I think, season 2 of Hibike
yep,
Euphonium, but they're
and
not like super duper crucial to Kumiko's
yep,
story.
yep, yep, and yeah, and now we learn a whole lot of more characters as well. So I
Right.
wonder
The
if this can keep up.
the most
I can
prominent
keep
new
up with all the
characters from
names.
this episode are obviously Mayu, whose name I don't think
Yep,
we know yet, but she is the brown-haired girl playing the euphonium on the roof.
yeah, who
Uh,
who wear a different uniform.
right. Yeah, so I guess she's a transfer student or something.
Yep,
And so it's her, and also the girls who joined the base section. I think there's 4 of them, and they do a little self-introduction one after the other.
yep, yep.
Um, that is, and I think some of them are going to end up being euphonium players, if I'm not
I, I
mistaken.
I think one of them is experienced. One of them have already played in a concert band before, and the other three are beginners.
Okay. Hmm. Well, I do remember Kanade. If you remember her, she's the girl with the red eyes who speaks very sweetly all the time.
Oh,
Like when she
I
does her little
I love her
explanation of what the
characters.
euphonium is and why people might want to join that section. She
Yep,
comes across like extremely patronizing and like
yep.
unnecessarily motherish. And as a result, the base section barely gets any people interested in it.
Yeah, well, I actually really like her characters. Like you can see a because of the movie that we watched as well. Not the 1 hour movie, but the movie before that.
Chikai no
Um,
finale.
Yep, where we see more about her characters and what she really feels. So I actually really like her. Like her facade, her sweet facade.
Her
You
facade.
know, yeah,
Yeah, I
facade.
guess.
That all right. Yep.
Yeah, it looks like facade.
Mm-hmm.
but when you spell it,
Facade.
the C has a little wiggly tail underneath it, indicating that
Yep.
it's. I don't know what language that would be actually. French.
I think it's from, yeah, French. They do that,
Okay.
or even like Turkish. But I think that's C from French and Turkish they pronounce differently.
Huh. Okay. Well, it kind of sounds to me like a French word, although I'm not 100% certain about that. I guess. Yeah. I mean, I guess it's a facade. It does seem like it's a it's a personality that she's built for
Yep.
herself to be like the I don't know the sweet girl who
But
everybody looks up to. But it does
yep.
for me. It doesn't really work.
All right. That it worked for me though. She's like one of my favorite characters. But
Oh
I
no.
think that
Okay.
yes, oh yes. But the thing is, like with the appearance of that new girls who can play Euphonium very well, I think there might be a tension between these three of them: Kumiko, Kurue, and Hisashi or
Right.
Kanade.
Yeah. Most likely.
And
Go ahead.
y- yeah, I just want to mention that I don't really know that how many, like I think they decided based on based on their team member, but I don't know if they're gonna have like two or three players who gonna play Euphonium in the concert band. So I
Well, there
just
were
want to bring
three
up
previously. It was Kumiko Kanade and the girl with the
the
reddish hair and the
senpai.
ponytail, who was a third year
Yeah.
and who has now
Yep.
left the concert band in order to focus on her entrance exams.
Hmm. Yep.
I don't think
Yep.
she's graduated yet, has she?
No, no, no. But usually, like the third year members always take like I think a semester off because or even a year off their uh
Their
extra
clubs, yeah,
activity.
they leave
Yep.
their clubs to focus on entrance exams. But
Yep.
I'm thinking about it now. They have graduated. The third years have graduated. In Ensemble Contest Hen, it was
Yep.
still their second year, and Kumiko became the president because the third year stepped down. But now season three is in their third year,
Yeah,
and the
because
reason we know that is because of the opening scene where Kumiko is like leaving her house. I guess
yep.
that's not
Yep.
technically the opening scene. First, there are a bunch of shots of the school,
Yep.
but then after we get some shots of the school, then we cut to Kumiko's room where she's waking up. She prepares to
Yep.
leave for school, and her dad makes a remark to his wife as his daughter's heading out the door. When is she going to quit this? Like, when is she going to quit this goofy club?
Yep. Yep.
So already at the very beginning of her third year, there's already pressure on her to step down and think
Yep.
about her future, study for entrance exams. So I'm sure that will be a running thread going throughout this season.
Yep. And I remember that she walking through the cherry blossom which indicate that it's April, around April, so like the start of the new school year for Japanese school.
Right.
So yep, I must say that she now become a third year. So like all other third years previous senpai maybe have graduated already.
Yeah. I don't remember their names, but there's a quartet of like really important third year characters who at the beginning of Hibike Euphonium were second years. At this point, they've graduated. And I don't know their names, but one of them was the euphonium player who I was referencing earlier, the girl with the
Yep.
reddish hair and the ponytail, who was
Yep.
who was the character who tried to keep the peace between different factions of the concert band that had tension with one another.
Yep.
Um, there was her.
She
There was the blonde girl with I. She had like a really fancy doll like hairdo. I can't remember if it was
yep.
drills or twin tails or what it was exactly, but it was her and then some other girl and then some other girl. I don't know.
All right, all right, all right. I can give you some of the context. So that girl, red hair girl who play euphonium is Natsuki. The
Okay.
girl with the the band head, the thing,
The blonde hair.
blonde hair is Yuko Yoshikawa, and the silent girl who played the flute or whatever that is.
Was she in Liz and the
Is
Bluebird, that silent flute
yep,
girl?
yep,
Okay.
that's good.
Yeah.
Is Yorosuka.
Yeah. Okay. I vaguely remember that now. I think there was a fourth as well. Like
Yeah,
in this
yep,
episode, there was a couple shots of them in Kumiko's
yep.
memory, I guess.
One of the
Um,
best friends, but yeah, I don't catch her name at the moment.
they're all
But
gone now,
that's
though. And
fine.
Kumiko's the president, and she leads a little meeting at the end about whether the concert band is going to aim for number one at nationals.
Yep,
And she gets kind of squeaky voiced and nervous about it.
yep,
But
yep, yep, yep,
everyone ends up raising their hand, like, let's go for it. It's a feel good moment,
yep,
pulled off
yep,
successfully.
yep,
And so that's nice. But
yep,
the drama that's going to emerge in the euphonium section and probably other parts of the concert band as well. That's what I mean. We don't get really a taste for that. This is
yep.
just
I
kind of a
agree.
welcome back episode, so you don't know exactly. It doesn't exactly set a
Uh,
tone for the rest of the season.
yep.
Um,
And I think that's gonna be a trouble for me. I would rather wait for like for all of the episode to come out to watch it all at once because 20 minutes come very fast. And even like I watched the 1 hours movie, it's come by really really fast.
yeah,
And
that
yep,
your interest in watching all the episodes at once does raise a question in my mind. Do you know whether this is going to be like 12-ish or 24-ish episodes?
nope, have no idea.
Me neither.
But
I guess I could look it up real fast. What
I
were you going to
would
say?
wager that I would wager that it's gonna be the final season of Sagittarium now that they are in the third years.
Well, I mean, that's almost certainly true. I just wonder whether it's going to be double length.
Yep, yep.
Let's see. Hibike Euphonium 3 on my anime list, episodes 13. Now, of course, that can be wrong, but okay. I would say, based on this, that it's going to have 13 episodes.
All right. Mhm.
There's probably some sort of press release or something that came out about how many, because you often learn towards the beginning of a show's run how many episodes it's going to have, and the reason they publish that information is so people know like how many Blu-ray volumes they're going to have to buy or whatever.
Yep. Okay.
Okay.
Yep. All right. Enjoy the show so far. This is one of these. I really I'm really glad that that the production look fantastic. It just it doesn't look any weak moment at all. So
Well,
like they keep up with the good work.
there are some
Yeah.
CG desks and students, which
Uh,
I don't remember seeing in this franchise before.
all right. Hmm.
So that when I saw those, I mean, they're so like non-noticeable. They're so subtle that
Yep.
it shouldn't really matter. But when I saw them, I was like, oh no, because I think like for a long time, as far as I remember, Euphonium has never resorted to that sort of thing. But it's really not, it's not like a Tsukigakure situation where the CG
Yep.
students, just look like ass and are all over every episode.
Yep.
Uh, so it's fine.
Okay. Yep. All right. I put it first.
Oh, interesting. Okay, for me it's number 6.
Yeah, just based on the first episode alone, right? Because I also based on the 1 hour movie, which I really really love.
Well, you know that I really like the 1 hour movie. It was an honorable mention for me when we did our Anime of
Yep.
the Year episode last year.
Yep. They
Um,
are. I think they just return to the formula that they work best. Like in the first episodes, sorry, in the first season, they did that as well. They focus more of like small moments. Like in the movies, there small moment where Kubiko talking to like one of the senpai, the one that I just mentioned who do the flute. Um and the senpai just struggled to open the windows, and then Kubiko just like poof, she opened that just
right.
like and and the senpai was like really impressed by that. I love all these small changes like that, and that happened a lot in the first season, not that much in the second season,
The second
and now
season
they
there
go
was
back.
so much drama.
Yes, too much drama, and then the movies that come afterward is kind of like too condensed.
Yeah,
So
well, they gotta move through their material. They can't afford
yep,
to have a window opening scenes all the time.
yep, I agree. So now that it back to it normal self, like just kind of like observation. I love that. So I just hope that the final episode gonna be more of like the season one and not too much drama than season two.
I guess we'll find out. The only way to know for
Yep,
sure is to keep watching.
yep,
Though whether
that's
you do
true.
it week by week or once all the episodes are out is, of course, up to the individual.
Yep, yep. All right, the next one is we get away from only music and school to one of the shonen uh prominence. Kaiju number 8.
Right. Yeah, we definitely get away from school because although this is a shonen manga, the main character is an adult,
Yep, yep.
probably in his late 20s. If the raised age of application to be a kaiju hunter or whatever it is they are is now
Hmm.
32, that's the new like cutoff point, and he's probably in his late 20s or something like that. For him
Yep,
to be like, oh wow, I can apply again.
yep. I think they mentioned somewhere, but I'm not really sure. This might be just another show that I'm mixing up. But I think he's like 27, 28 years old.
Sounds about right.
Yeah, but I think I might mix this up with other shows. Anyway, in this instant, I think I'm pretty much the same mind with Lenlo. I read Lenlo thought about this one. And just to summarize, I really enjoyed the episode until the last few minutes, the last twist.
Where he
That I
becomes a
feel like,
kaiju.
yeah, that I feel like actually kind of negate all of these, all the effort, all of these things that happened before, because I think that he by himself can be really strong as well. Why now that he had to become a kaiju and now he become like a superpower
I mean, I
and he
thought it was
team
a
up
heck of
by
a
other
hook.
kaiju. And yeah, all right,
I was very
go on.
intrigued, and not just by the fact that he's going to become a kaiju, and obviously, he'll use his powers for good. There are a bunch of superhero series, most
Yep.
likely, where people become like half monster, half human, and they side with the humans, and they use their monster powers to fight other monsters. Um, so that's something like that's probably going to happen here. But it's not just that interested me. It was the fact that the little flying mosquito monster that goes into his
Yep.
mouth first says, "Found
For
you."
you.
Yeah.
Yep.
What does that mean? I'm interested.
Yep.
Why was he looking for
Hmm.
him specifically?
Yep.
Um, so I'm curious about that. I also thought it was just funny that that he was on the other side of that curtain in the
Yep.
hospital room with the new guy at his work, where he is.
Yep.
You know what this show kind of reminded me of is the Dragon Dentist. You ever seen that
I
OVA?
agree. Yep. I love
Yeah,
that as well.
where it
I agree.
focuses on like the less glamorous side of
Yep.
monster disposal.
Yep.
So
I
he's yeah, it reminded me of that a little bit. I just lost my train of
Yep.
thought. Oh,
Yes.
that he his mouth gets invaded by that monster, and it's funny that he's on the other side of that curtain and he's like struggling and gasping and writhing, and
Yep.
the new guy at his workplace is like talking about how I don't know, he inspired him, or
Yep.
that it's never too late to chase your dreams, or whatever it was he was talking about. And meanwhile, the guy's suffering. The main character's suffering on the other side of
Yep.
the curtain.
Yep. I really like many of the decision this show make. Like at first, like when the kaiju appear and we see like it got shut down almost immediately, and there was like it too much blood and violence, and that is by design to the effect that we see Kafka and the whole team trying to uh basically comment the same thing. Like whenever this division come out, they just go all out, and it's just a lot of blood. And now I had to clean it mess up.
Not only that, it's his childhood friend who's
Yep,
who's causing all that mess.
yep. So yep, I really enjoy like the little humor this show have, and Kafka, the main characters, he actually pretty, not relatable, but he actually pretty, a good characters in my mind. It's he just like a lot deeper than any of the other protagonists of shonen show that we see this day.
Well, he's also struggling with a problem that is more familiar to us as adults, which
Yep,
is that
yep, yep,
he's got a dead end job. He
yep,
is stuck in his little dinky apartment, and
yep,
he feels unfulfilled in his life. That's something that most adults have felt at some point
yep,
before.
and
So
yep,
just seeing him like lying on his futon, kind of grabbing the pillow next to him and hugging it, and being like, "Oh, it's fine. Everything's fine.
yep,
My life's going great."
yep. I have my whole own apartment. I have my own job.
Yeah, I
You
get to
know.
eat
Yep,
whatever delicious food I want. Isn't that okay? Isn't that what life's all about?
yep,
But his new partner, Ichikawa, I guess, Reno
yep,
is his first name, it seems. Um, reminds him that there was something that there was a dream he had that he can now chase now that he's a kaiju.
yep,
And this dude, the scene where the old man is walking by their hospital room, and he like turns his head and looks
yep,
through the door and sees Kafka
yep, yep,
in his kaiju form, and he whips the phone up to his ear. Is just that little sound effect of the as he brings the phone up is so funny.
yep, yep. I really like the humor in the show. So yeah, that and and many of other instances just make it a whole lot fun to watch.
Yeah, it's also
And
nice
if
that his female
yep,
childhood friend is like the number one badass.
yep.
She is
I
his savior.
Yep. I think it hurt him as well, to know that her now become like the top uh of the food chain, so to speak, and he's like the bottom of that.
Yeah. I mean, he's almost literally the bottom of the food chain, given that he has to saw into kaiju's intestines.
Yeah. Eve.
Yeah, that was really disgusting.
Yeah.
All the sound effects that they used during that scene.
Yep.
But it does hammer home
So
the point that he's not really satisfied with his job, no matter what he tells himself.
yeah. But the thing is, I still want to see if he, like Kafka of the 28th human body, can do, because he can definitely, like if he try, he can still be, like in the elite squad if he want to. Now
I'm not
that he
really
got like,
I'm not really
all right,
sure about that, to be honest,
I'm,
because his
I hang
childhood
up with
friend
that.
Mina fights with the help of like some sort of weird white tiger or something.
Yep.
So I'm
Yep.
pretty sure there are supernatural abilities involved.
Mhm.
I don't know if he could have
I
just done it as a human. I think maybe the test that you have to pass, you take as a human, but once you're a part of the kaiju, disposal organization, I didn't remember what it was called exactly. Maybe
mhm,
then you're granted some sort of secret abilities or something.
mhm.
I
All
can
right.
see why that would be like points off the show for some people. It's like a Deku from My Hero Academia situation where
Yep.
you want him to like be the best without superpowers because he doesn't have them at the start, but then he lucks into them.
Yep.
But
Yep.
I think this show's going to be, I think this show is going to be different than that. It's not
Yep.
because My Hero
I
Academia is all about superpowers, whereas I think
yeah.
this show probably has more to offer.
And I do think that the humor in this show is much better than My Hero Academia or Demon Slayers. Some of
Why
these,
bring up Slayers? What's the connection there?
oh, just because like it's like one of the most popular shonen show that going on right now,
Going
and
on
this
right
one had,
now.
yeah,
Isn't Slayers from 1995? What show are you talking
No,
about? Oh, Demon Slayer.
no,
Oh, okay.
Demon Slayers.
Oh, my bad. Was thinking
No,
about old anime again.
Slayers. Yep. So, and his name is Kafka for Christ's sake.
Metamorphosis. Yeah. Oh, I
Yeah.
should also mention the reason I was into this show.
Yep.
Like before it aired, before I saw any promotional material or anything, the reason that I was interested in it was because Shinji Kimura was doing the art direction.
Oh.
He was the AD on Dorohedoro,
Oh,
and you
right.
can tell watching the show, like some of the wider shots of the city, like a city block that's covered in like guts and blood and stuff, is
Mhm.
kind of similar to the way that Dorohedoro was
Mhm.
like composited.
Yep. Yep.
Specifically, when N from Dorohedoro would like make a section of like some section of a city burst into mushrooms. It kind of has
Yep. Yep.
like all the blood and guts in this show kind of has a similar look to it.
Mhm.
So I really like Shinji Kimura's work, not just on shows like that, but also on like for example, he did Fortune Favors Lady Nikuko,
Mhm.
um, and he's worked on Ghibli films before. He's just I find him to be very talented, and I would say I thought this show looked pretty good, from an art
Mhm.
direction perspective, but it wasn't everything I was hoping it would be.
Yep. And
Still pretty excited about it though.
yep. And even some of the scene remind me of Dorohedoro as well. On the plus spotting, like on these guts, all these things. It just also remind you a bit of Dorohedoro.
Yeah.
So in a good way. So yep.
Yeah, Dorohedoro season 2 confirmed, by the way.
Yep. Looking forward to that.
Might not be out until like next year or something. Not even necessarily with the same director or same studio. They haven't announced any of that, but I am hoping, fingers crossed that it's going to live up to the first.
Yeah. Yep. And all right, so this is the one that I definitely keep an eye out. I put that third out
Okay.
of 10.
For me, number 1.
Yep. And
Not
this the
Kaiju
one.
number 8, Kaiju number 1.
Fair enough. All right, the next one is a bit of very interesting one as well. Karasu wa Aruji were Erabanai.
Yeah.
Yet the Raven did not choose his masters.
Yeah, Yadagarasu is the first word, I think, in the localized title, which
Yeah.
makes sense because Yadagarasu is the name of like the mythical three-legged crow that factors into
Right.
the lore, I guess, of this series.
Mhm.
And this one is uh it's based on a novel series,
Yep.
and it kind of comes on the heels, at least in terms of when it's airing, of Apothecary Diaries, which had a similar plot running through its background with the four
Yep.
different potential consorts for the
Yep.
emperor. In
Yep.
this show, there are four women from four different provinces, north, south, east, and west, surrounding the central, like mountainous palace region or whatever.
Hmm. Hmm.
Um, and they're all competing to wed the what was it called? The
The
Golden Raven, right? Or it's
mhm,
like
the
Karao.
prince.
Yeah. Oh,
Yep.
Kinu, the Golden Raven, who's like the leader of their people.
Yep.
Who can transform into a giant golden three-legged raven, who we
Yep.
see in the cold open.
Yep. Yep.
Oh, did you watch the second episode of this?
No, no, no. I just watched the one episode.
Okay. I mean, that is what we're supposed to do, but given I think we had a situation like this last season as well, where
Yep.
two episodes of a show popped up on Subs Please at the same time, and the question is, do they function as one unit? In this show, they don't really. It's helpful
Yep.
kind of to view them together because there's a lot of information to digest
Yep.
with this show. But
you can go on a bit of the second episode if you want.
no, that's fine.
It focus on the characters that they left at the end of the first episode, right?
I mean, can you refresh my memory on who
Yep.
the like what is the show focusing on at the end of the first episode? Which characters?
All right. So that is like I think let's focus on the three brothers of one of the province that you just said, and
The
he
North.
can
The
trans
three brothers are from the North.
yeah I think North. We can see that the main characters who got who got beaten by like some strange boys, but he then can transform into the crow, the flying crow. So I reckon that he gonna be like the main characters uh that in the second episodes. I
Well,
don't
I
remember his
won't go
name.
into like any big amount of detail regarding the second episode, but I will say that yes, Yukiya, who is the middle brother in that
Yep,
northern family,
yep,
is he's kind of the focus, or their family is of the second
yep,
episode, and it's a lot less about the four women from the different provinces trying to become the
hmm
wife of the Kindu,
yep. All right,
which is
sound good.
interesting because the first episode does spend almost all of its time on those four women,
Yep.
mostly Asebi, who was
hmm
a replacement for her older sister who fell ill, and as a result,
Yep,
she has to represent the East, and she's
yep,
like kind of naive and has that she has that voice. I can see
yep.
here looking at my anime list that she's voiced by Rina Honizumi, and I don't know if it's Rina's voice that I'm thinking of when I think of those characters who have just a very breathy, very breathy way of speaking, and everything they say kind of sounds real sugary. Uh, I don't know if it's all characters who have been voiced by her or if it's just like a really popular method of
Yep.
voice acting, but
I think it's the second one, but I
probably.
have a brief look at her voice acting now, and there's other characters that I don't know, so
Oh,
I
okay.
cannot tell. She voiced
Well,
a little daughter in Taisho Samurai.
oh, interesting. Man, that is a throwback. I remember blogging that show.
Yep. Oh, that was a way back.
Yeah, and I remember
She
really liking the first
voiced
episode of Taisel Samurai as well, and then it just kind of fell off a cliff.
she voiced someone in Zombieland Saga. Mikigawa. I don't really remember that girl. Mikigawa.
I don't remember anything about Zombieland Saga except for the rap. Episode 2 had rapping in it, apparently. Something like that.
Yep. And no, all of the others we haven't seen. So
Yeah. All
all
right.
good.
Well, it sounds like she's a newer, a newer Seiyuu if she doesn't have a whole bunch of established roles. So good for her. And maybe it fits. Like if she's kind of new to voice acting, it would fit her character, Asabi, because she's new to having this level of responsibility put on her shoulders. She's only here because her
Yep.
sister couldn't fulfill her duties because she was ill.
hmm
Although I mean, so the first step, I'm really interested in this show because it is based on a novel because it does, even though it's not based on history, it kind of has a historical fiction feel to it.
Yep.
Um, and there's a whole bunch of characters whose names and like rankings and positions pop up on little cards,
Yep.
cards. So it's kind of like Legend of the Galactic Heroes in that sense. I kind of get an LOGH vibe from the show a little bit. Just that it
It
seems so ambitious right out of the gate.
yep.
Um,
It does remind me of other two shows that you haven't mentioned yet, but I think you can see the similarities. One of them is Oku from last year.
yeah.
It's about also about like alternative history, and the other one is in a very good way, Moribito.
Oh, interesting. I hadn't made the Moribito connection. I was thinking you were going to say Sion Koku Monogatari.
No, this Moribito is more of what I think of. It's like a very expanded fantasy that like that have a well led lore, and uh countries and people behind that, and we're gonna explore hopefully like each of like different section of uh of the group of the gangs, and like different perspective that make up this world. I really love that.
Well, I mean, I I guess
Hopefully.
it's similar. It's similar to Moribito in that they're both fantasy worlds, but Moribito's direction really centered um, setting and action, and it was like this show is very talky. There's lots of dialogue, lots of names being thrown up on screen. I don't really get Moribito vibes.
All right. Yep.
Like in
All
terms of the
right.
way the shows are directed, I don't think they're that similar.
Mm. But well,
It would be great if the
but
show were anywhere in the league, anywhere in the realm of Moribito's like overall presentation, which is
yeah,
highly cinematic.
yeah,
Um, this one doesn't feel quite on that level, but yeah, like I said, I am interested
yeah.
because there's who are the major players in this first episode. Obviously, there was the cold open where we
Asabi.
meet Yukiya and his younger brother. Um, and they're on the run because they've been attacked or wounded or something, and
Yep.
they meet the Golden Raven. But apart from that, there's the four
Is
women.
that sorry? Is that the golden raven that we see? Because
Yeah,
it's still raven. It's still black.
well, yeah, but it's I think that's because it's silhouetted by the moon.
Right.
So as a
Right.
result, it appears darker than it actually is. I don't think Golden Raven literally means like a raven, who that's entirely gold
You
covered.
got it.
But there is gold trim,
Right.
like in terms of how it's shaded around its wings and stuff.
Yep. All right. All right.
Um,
Yep.
but putting that little opening scene aside, there's Hamayu, Shiratama, Asebi, and Masuho no Suzuki, who are the four potential brides.
Mhm.
Then there each of them have like a male lord from their provinces who have a little scene where they're like drinking tea
Yep.
together or something.
Yep. Yep.
So
Yep.
there's
Yep.
those four characters who are probably going to be at least somewhat significant with all the
Yep.
political intrigue that's going to be playing out behind the scenes. Then each of those women has like a retainer or an advisor or something.
Yep.
For
Yep.
Asabi,
Yep.
her
Yep.
name is Ugoki. No,
Mm-hmm.
Ukogi. Yeah.
Ukugi. Yep.
So there's that. And then we do meet, the show does wrap back around to show some of the boys from that family in the north. Man, what is their last
Yep.
name? Did I even write it down? I'm not sure that I did.
But like in between, Asabi was in talk with like one of the other characters that I don't think Asabi know their name. I don't think that I learned their name as well. Like when they it was sitting in a little pond.
Oh yeah, no,
wa-
that's one of the four women who are competing to be wed
Was
to the Kinnu. She wears like those blue robes.
no, 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 no. So it happened way afterward. It happened when Asabi just like make some really silly comment that make everyone laugh.
Right.
And I think Shiratama is the one who tried to break one of her glass, so that like basically break the ice. And Asabi, like she feeling overwhelmed, she just storm out. That when she met someone, I don't even know if it's a male or female.
Hmm.
And they have like a brief chat about that.
I've
About
completely forgotten this, I guess.
Yeah. And I would wager at first that is the golden raven that she talking about, because that person also mentioned that the prince is like kind of uh the one that no one expected him to be to take in the throne. So they tell the little backstory about how how the brother was supposed to be a taking the throne, but then he was assigned that
The royal
that
priest said that the second born son was going to
yep,
inherit the throne.
yeah,
Yeah,
that
and he had a different mother as well. The firstborn son
yep,
was the empress's child, but the prince, the the second
yep,
prince, I guess, was born from a concubine.
that's correct, yes.
I in my memory for some reason I seem to remember that Hamayu, one of the four potential brides who dresses in blue and is from the south and speaks like
Uh,
very kind of crassly, or
yep.
she's kind of
Okay.
forthright and arrogant. I thought she was the one who told Asabi about that, but I guess not.
Right. Right.
So if it's a different character,
Maybe.
then that brings the total up to 10, not including the three brothers from the north.
Yep. But you might be right. So I will check on that later on.
Well, that's just the thing about this show, though, is like it's going to be easy to make those sort of mistakes, especially if
Yep.
you've seen an episode and then you wait a week and watch another one. I don't think that's how either of us are going to end up watching the show. But
Mm.
if you don't kind of speed through it and like maybe take some screen caps, or at least reference an anime database every once in a while to see the characters' names and faces and stuff, there's a lot of potential for people to get mixed up or confused, and I think that's going to
Yep.
limit this show's appeal, or at
Mm.
least limit its audience.
Yep.
So
I'm just very interested in how it's gonna represent this huge amount because it's based on uh the novels, like
yeah,
a series of novels.
it is going to be
And
20 episodes rather than just a standard 12 or 13.
yeah, that's so good to me.
So
So
they
I
must have some more detailed plan than just fill up
yeah,
3 months.
yeah, I agree. So yeah, definitely the one that I also keeping an eye out because just by on the sheer scope that
Right.
it represents so far.
Yeah. It does seem to be pretty ambitious. I like that.
Yeah,
I don't know whether that's going to pay
yeah,
off, but I guess we'll see.
I agree. Yep. At least it looked better than Oku.
Yeah, I was kind of surprised that this show looked as good as it did because, well, I mean, this is just my vague recollection, but I remember seeing the PV for it when it first came out, and I was like, oh man, kind of a bummer that
Yep,
it kind of looks like Oku. It got the same
yep.
treatment. That's what I thought in my head. Then, and went into the first episode, like I double clicked on the video file thinking, well, here we go. If I gave Oku a chance, I have to give this a chance. And then all of a sudden it looks good? Huh?
Yeah,
I was
right.
like, wow, what a pleasant surprise.
Yep. No, because you had a really low bar. That's why.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah, expectations do kind of impact what you end up taking away from stuff.
Yep. I put that fourth out of 10.
So did I.
Yep. All
So
right.
that means we know your fourth, third, and
And
first.
first.
And we
Yep.
know my first, we know my
First,
fourth,
second,
second, and first. So the only question is
yep.
what's my number three and what's your number
And
two? I mean, I already know what your number two is. Let's be real.
really?
Yeah, of
All
course.
right. All right. Let's get to that. If we, I have my next one here actually is Spine Wolf because of the Japanese one, Okami to Koshinru, Merchant with
Oh,
White
okay.
Wolf. You want to
Gotcha.
get into that?
Sure. This is
All right.
this is the one that I would assume you put second.
Yep. All right. Uh, how you feel about the episodes?
I felt about it pretty much the same way that I did about the first episode of the 2008 anime.
Yep. Mhm.
I'm not really a
Which?
huge fan.
Yep. I must say that I'm a fan of Spineworth. Like I bought the books that like contain all of its I think 18, 20, 19 volumes.
Damn.
It's a huge book.
Yeah,
And
that's a lot.
yep, it's the I think it's the collector's book and it just but apart from that, I just feel that like the original Spineworth they only have like four of these story out. So I'm really looking forward to this one to do the justice of all of the remaining. So I just a bit perplexed on why like they have to go through this again because by all means this original first episode was like competent enough and this one it doesn't add much at all.
In fact, it subtracts, doesn't it?
it's not really that subtract. I just feel it's the same way that I feel with the first episode back in 2008.
Well, the reason I said that is because there was a character in the first episode of 2008 who that was not present here, Chloe.
All right. That was because originally in the book it was supposed to be a man, and so this one is actually more of like a faithful adaptation than the 2008.
Wait, is Yade the guy who's supposed to be trapped in the barn?
Yep.
Does
He,
he
he's
is
he's the
he's
original.
Chloe?
Yep, he's Chloe.
Oh,
Yes.
yeah. I guess I didn't really think for some reason I didn't put the
Yep.
pieces together. Yeah, but
Yep.
doesn't Chloe have a role in the 2008 anime beyond just being the person who's selected with the last little stalk of wheat? Doesn't she like
Yeah.
betray Lawrence or something in episode 2 or 3?
Yep. So she become a parent in at the end of that act. I don't know if it's gonna be the same treatment for this guy children, or they just But I'm pretty sure that Chloe was the original anime materials, and they they kind of make. I think they try to combine two characters
Okay.
to become Chloe.
Hmm. Here's another question for you about a
Yep.
comparison between 2008 and 2024.
Yep.
In this version,
Mhm.
um, the Hodo's like she has a Kansai accent. A lot of her sentences end with ya. Uh,
Right.
was that the case in the 2008 version? Do you remember?
I cannot recall, but maybe not. Like she does speak like a really Asian language, but I don't know if like specifically she speak like of the Kansai dialect that you just mentioned.
Well, it is the same. I looked, and it is the same voice actress playing
Oh
Hollow
wow.
in both series, Ami
So
Toshimizu.
all right.
So if she had a
So
vocal
no
quirk
brainer
in
then.
one, it might carry over to
Yep.
this remake. But it's
Yep.
also
Yep.
possible, and this is just maybe my brain playing tricks on me, but I seem to remember that Hollow in 2008 was not like a Kansai accent is supposed to represent that a character is kind of
Old
I don't
fashioned.
know, like simple minded, maybe, or maybe a little bit
Right.
coarse in their speech.
Yep.
And
I more like um Chia the Pratt. They from Kansai as
yeah,
well.
well, Jarenko Chie leans a lot
Jindakuchi.
heavier into the Kansai dialect. That show is like cannot possibly
Yep.
escape it. Every character speaks it, and it's really thick.
Yep.
Here, it's just given to one character, I guess, because Hollow is very upfront about her opinions, and so they give her the Kansai accent um, as a way of
I
reinforcing that idea.
I think it's more like maybe the Kansai dialect is more of the dialect of the Asian, like the Japan used to have their empire in Kyoto, so it's
Right.
more like old and Asian.
Yeah, that's. I
That's
guess
my
you can
take.
use a Kansai accent for that purpose, but I don't. For some reason, that wasn't the vibe I got here. It does make
Yep.
sense
All right.
though. Yeah.
Yep. And yeah, and like I said, it doesn't really. I I I I I don't feel any different. Like
Okay.
there's a bit of the different, but my general thought of this episode is the same as 2008. So like I think in the 2008 version, we don't really see Holo in the wolf form.
Well,
We
we
just
barely see her in a wolf form here, right?
we we saw much more of Graf from Graf, like horrified when he looked at the real form more
Yeah, we see
than
more of
the
his
original.
his reaction, and then it cuts away, and he's
Yep.
all of a sudden back in the town where he was before, and you're like, what happened?
Yep. But I think that's a good choice that make like Graf or Lawrence really aware of Holo, and he at one point mentioned that like even though I'm the one who tell you to transfer to see the real form. I was scared of that, so I apologize for that. So it's a good thing, I think.
All right. Well,
And
I'm just gonna rely on your interpretation because you are the Spice and Wolf fan. I
well,
not really a fan. I mean, I thought this
all
first
right.
episode was okay. It was all right.
Yeah, so the thick of it is that I'm not worried about this episode because I just see that all of this is already been done quite well in the original 2008. Like even like the first episode of 2008, I think my main concern is that we see Holo in the nude, which I think this one can will a bit of censor off. It doesn't,
Hmm?
and
You still see her. I mean, we're not
yeah,
getting full frontal shots or anything, but you still see her naked.
yep. Which yeah, I
She's not a human being. You know, she doesn't feel the same sense of shame.
yep, yep, I agree. Uh,
It makes
if
sense, I guess.
yeah, that makes sense. In any cases, I will wait until this arc is over to get into the new arc. That's that's what
Do
I
you think
think.
you're gonna skip
No, I
the
gonna watch it,
episodes
but
between now and then?
I I think that this one they gonna rust through this arc just because it's already been so it's another case of Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood,
Maybe, yeah. Well,
and
that
and
would. I
I
mean,
hope
to people who are big fans of the original series, that might be the way to go.
yeah, and the character design look a bit younger than the 2008, which I'm not that keen of.
Yeah, it is. The designs do skew a little younger, and
Yeah,
there's also we've got 2024 digital effects now, which
yep,
means
yep,
that
yep,
characters, like when
yep,
it's nighttime and the moon is out, characters seem to be glowing from inside their bodies instead of being lit just by the moon.
yep. All
Some
right.
really weird applications of that
Yep, yep,
effect
yep.
in this episode. Not that the original series looked great or
Did any
anything.
better? All right.
Yeah,
Yep,
I mean, I like the simpler, kind of more primitive digital coloring of the 2008 version.
yep.
Um,
I
but this but
I
this version has 3D CG horses, which is actually an improvement from the horrible attempts at drawing horses
yep.
from the one from
Well,
16 years ago.
yep. The animation look much better though, so there's still hope for that.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm a fan, so I'm definitely gonna check this out. But as far as the first episode goes, I put this 7 out of 10.
Oh, I thought you did put it second. I thought you were going to say all that
Yep.
and then be like, number two. Okay. I also put it seventh.
Yep. Just yep.
Okay. So I did not
Uh,
know what you put second. I lied or I was too confident.
maybe the same show. We don't know. Let's find out.
Well, you already
All
know what
right.
I put second. It's Astro Note.
I don't.
Yeah.
Maybe
I put
now I
Astro
know,
Note
but
second.
let's see. Oh shit. Your third.
Yeah. Could be the same. We'll find out.
All right. The next one is Seiyuu Radio no Uraomote. Is it this one? Let's find out.
Oh,
The
I
many
mean, it's
sides of
definitely not, man.
the
There's
many sides
absolutely
of
no
my
way.
actor radio.
I didn't enjoy this at all.
Oh, that's too bad. To think. I I was expect a bit more out of this because when I heard that, like the title, the CU radio, I was more looking into like the maybe the inside of like radio characters like up and real radios, like the show that we saw a couple of years ago. This
What?
wife, listen to me, I think.
Oh yeah, 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 yeah. No, that
So
show was far beyond this one.
I agree. And yeah, what we get instead is just a generic, mm, like yeah, about two idols who happen to be classmates, and they have to work together and they hate each other gut, which it's not it's still alright, but still, not anything that it's not a Marvel idea,
But
you
they
know.
don't. They by the end of this episode, they don't hate each other's guts. That's the problem.
Yeah, yeah,
If they
yeah,
did, and the episode was like a much harsher look at how people who don't, who are kind of forced together by the circumstances of their producers or their managers, how they
hmm
have to learn to build a rapport and work together for the common good of a project that they're both involved with. That would be interesting. But instead, of course, one of them gives a little miniature inspirational speech about how you're a professional. The fans out there are expecting you to do your best, so you got to suck it up. And here's a little kick, and oh, you fell, but oh, so clumsy, so cute.
yeah.
We're really great partners now, and we're gonna work together to be the best idols we can be. Like just get out of here, man. Get out of my face. I don't
Ah,
care.
that's too harsh. But yeah,
Yeah, not interested at all, dude. I want
all right.
like Shirobako just raised the
hmm
bar for any sort of behind the scenes entertainment show.
Yep,
So that
yep.
pretty much everything that has come after it has been, has not cleared that bar. Oshinoko
Yep.
didn't clear it. Um, Girlish Number, if you remember that show from like
Yep.
7 years ago, didn't clear it.
hmm I
Any
remember
like
liking that
idol or
show.
Seiyuu related shows, and there have been a handful, like Sorega Seiyuu, which I think was 2015. I haven't seen it, but of course, it doesn't have the same reputation as the show
Yep,
that preceded it. So
yep.
I'm
And
just, I didn't like this
yep,
at all.
yep. This is a show that I was about to propose you to swap with with
Go Go Loser
Goku
Ranger.
Loser. Yeah, I love the title. Uh, but yeah, I just feel that uh all right, one good thing is that we can see how they appear different, like in their real life and their professional life, which I think is the case for like the real life idols.
That's true, but I don't know, man. They're too. That's definitely a potential selling point. Is that you get to see. In fact, we know the characters' real names and their names as Seiyuu because they have separate
hmm
names. So I had to learn 4 names for 2 characters, which was kind of annoying. But they you do get the sense that both of them kind of resent having to put on like a little cutesy character as part of their
Yep,
jobs. They're not wild
yep,
about that.
yep, yep,
But
yep.
by the time you get to the end of this episode, it's like, oh well, that's just the name of the game. That's just what you have to do to
Yep.
as an idol, as a Seiyu. That's part of it. I want the show to
And
put up a little bit more resistance to that idea, so we get
yeah,
a clearer glimpse at the real personalities of these 2 girls, and less of a picture of what they're like, in this weirdo professional capacity.
yep, I agree. And these two girls share the same thing, like the pressure that they have to go through, and like you said, they doesn't really like their like their professional personnel as well. So I think that's something that they're gonna have to work through maybe together in the future. But as of
Yeah,
now, I'm not that keen to like, to find out.
there's no way I'll ever watch another episode of this. It was number 10 for me.
It's number 9 for me.
Okay, so dead last between the 2 of us then.
Yep. All right. All right. The next, let's go to the next one then.
Shuumatsu.
Is is it gonna be the one? Let's say Shuumatsu train Doko e Iku train to the end of the world.
Yep, it's another Mizushima series. We were talking about Shirobako earlier. He was the Shirobako director.
Right. Right.
He
Hmm.
has a reputation for directing some of the weirdest and most oddball cute girls doing cute things series. For
Yep.
example,
All
Girls
right.
in Panzer and the airplane show from a couple years ago, Koya no Kotobuki Hikotai.
Yep. All right.
Uh,
Hmm.
and here he's got another very strange cute girls series. In fact, this is easily the strangest of any show he's ever directed. And I mean, this guy directed Mayoiga, so that's a high bar to
Yep.
clear. But this show was weird.
Yep. Wow. Like
7G, starting off with the main character, no, not the main character, a character who ends up being
yep.
trapped in Ikebukuro, which is a plot point. She ends up
Yep.
getting like sucked into a stone owl statue, airlifted to the top of a building, dropped off
Yep.
to be part of a ceremony where she hits a button that destroys the fabric of modern society and even shifts the Earth's alignment, because you see later on in a shot of like the night sky, there's
Yep.
multiple planets. They're far closer to Earth than they ever were before. So
Yep.
something has gone wrong on a cosmic level just to start off in the first episode of this show. That's
No, no, no.
crazy.
It's not the first episode. It's the first 5 minutes of the show,
Yeah, that's that's true.
and it just got weirder from there. It's just amazing to me. And then we learned that the world is like some sort of like apocalyptic world now, and all
Yeah, and
these
there have
are
been
now
different effects
transformed
on
into
a
the
bunch of
animals.
different provinces in Japan.
Yeah,
What's the
yeah,
name of the
that as
province
well.
where most of this episode is set? Is it Asano?
I had no idea, but I would say that yes.
I seem to recall that it's Asano, although I could just be mixing that up with the the name of the guy who wrote Goodnight Poon Poon. But like so in their hometown, I guess, where all these girls are from,
Agano,
um, what is it?
Agano.
Agano,
So not
not Asano.
yeah.
Okay, Agano.
Mhm.
Yeah, now that I think about it, you're right. Um, all the adults, like once you hit, what did they say? 21 years and 3 months.
Yep.
Once you turn
So
that
so
age,
random. Yep.
yeah. So
You
21 times 4 months. No, wait. 21 times 12. Oh, I can't do that mental math. I was about to calculate like exactly how many months is that total. Maybe that's a significant number going forward. Anything can happen
all
in a
right.
show like this. But
I
in
can
any
do that.
case, yeah, they all the adults turn into animals. But as they go on this like last second spontaneous unplanned train journey through this weird apocalyptic version of Japan, all the different like cities, towns, provinces that they visit are going to have different like laws of physics and different
Yep.
weird twists on each of their societies. So you know what it kind of reminded me of? Sunny Boy.
Yeah.
Maybe that's just because I'm
Yeah.
obsessed with Sunny Boy, but there are different rules for each of the quote unquote worlds that the characters visit in Sunny Boy. And apparently it's going to be something similar here. Like the next town that we get to, it won't be all the adults are
and
animals. It'll be something else that we can't predict.
and it's so interesting the way that because of the cosmic ship or whatever with the Earth, that they each town is now so far away from each other that you can like literally walk or like drive or go there. So like the premise of like having this train to go from this town to another actually like have a lot of valid reason.
Yeah,
It
it's
make it make
interesting to
a
say
whole
that
lot
it's
of
valid
sense.
because it is
Yep.
so there are so many strange elements surrounding it. Like the old man who sometimes, because it becomes a young man when he puts on his
The
conductor's
hat.
cap, but other times does
Yep.
not,
Yep.
and he
And
just he's that's so
he
weird. I don't even know what to make of that.
all right. He actually did exception to the rules because like every other adults to turn into the animals, but he turned into the old man who
But is he actually
yeah who
from that region?
yeah that's a good point. Maybe not because he know the original guy. Actually, yes, nope. So nope, he know the original guy who like back the whole the 7G mastermind who made the
Oh
whole mess.
yes, now I understand what you're talking about. Yeah, when he turns back into a young man and he says, "Man, I knew that we shouldn't have let that. I
Yep,
told so and so that we weren't ready for 7G. That it was gonna throw off the balance of everything."
yep, yep,
Yeah,
yep, yep, yep. So and another interesting thing is like all others adults for this for the town Agano is turned into the animals, different kind of animals, and we see like a shot of a kangaroo just like sitting, just lying down, and all the other animals. But there also the implication that like at one point they might turn into the animals. I mean,
Yeah,
like
they might lose
they
their
just
ability to
become,
reason as humans. Yeah,
yeah. It's very interesting implication.
yeah.
Man, this show is very 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 intriguing, and speaking of astronaut, it's just like like time 10.
Yeah. It's for sure weirder than Astro Note.
Yeah,
Um, yeah.
love that.
There's even like as strange it is, there's even one little emotional element kind of tucked away, which
Yep.
is when what's her face? I have the characters' names here. What is it?
Siruzu.
Shizuru. Yeah,
Yep.
Shizuru is the girl with kind of the side ponytail.
Yep.
One thing that I'm not totally crazy about is the character designs. Um,
I
all
agree.
the characters look very young,
Yep.
but
Not in a good way.
I'm just this show is so bizarre that I'm willing to put that complaint to the side
Yep.
just because I
Yep.
want to see what else it has up its sleeve. But
Yep.
Shizuru, she gets a newspaper. I think that's one of the
Yep.
things that's delivered to the girls when the people come on the train with supplies and stuff. Meat,
Yep.
mostly, I think, for the residents of the village who are now animals.
Yep.
Shizuru
Yep.
gets a
Yep. Yep.
newspaper and she sees Yoka's picture in it. Yoko
Yep.
being her friend who is from the same village, but is now in Ikebukuro at the end of the line. They have to take the train to the end of the world. So
Yep.
Shizuru, seeing that picture, goes to Yoko's grandmother's house, who is now a guinea pig, and she shows it to her. And she gets little tears in the corner of her guinea pig eyes.
Yep.
And later you can see that image has been cropped out of the newspaper and put in a frame, like a photo frame.
Yep.
So they hit you with a little bit of pathos.
And then even before that, when she was talking with the teacher who is a lizard, she also put on her form that like what she wants to do in the future is go find her.
Her friend.
So yep,
Yeah, that's
that
what she fills out her like career aspirations form.
yep. So you know that like she really hang up about like losing that girl and will try her best to find her.
Yep. I mean that's the mission. She's the one who
Yep.
decides to go on this train ride. Everybody else just kind of hops on last
Yep.
second.
Literally. Yep. Yep.
Uh, which I thought was, I mean, it
Oh
mostly
wow.
just amused me.
Yep. Well, cute girl doing cute things, so why not, ride the train to other suburbs?
I wonder how cute it's going to be. Because there's
Yep.
potential for like, and I mean, this guy has directed Mayoiga. He's also the director of Another, which is a
Yep.
horror series. I don't think it has the best reputation, maybe not a reputation as being the scariest series out there, but he does have kind of a horror slant
Yep.
in some of his projects. So that could be, coming down the road, or should I say the rails,
Yep.
as far as
Have
this show is concerned.
Have you watched my yoga?
I haven't.
Oh, it's supposed to be a horror, so it's just so terrible. It's like the very first show that I blocked for Star Cross.
Oh,
So I
really?
remember, I remember that very well. But
Well, you must
yeah,
have seen something in it at the start, at least.
yeah. Oh
Well, what
well,
did you see in this show at the start?
a lot, a lot of potential actually. So
Enough to rank it third or second?
yes, it is. I rank it second out of
Okay, yeah,
10.
for me it was number three.
Yep, it's a keeper for me.
All right.
All right.
Now the question is,
Yep.
well, I don't know what the question is actually. I guess the question would be, where do we rank the last two shows? The first of which is Jellyfish Can't Swim in the Night.
Yep. Yuru no Kurage wa Oyogenai.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yep. I
All right.
guess, I mean, Kurage we know is jellyfish because of Kurage Hime, Princess Jellyfish,
Yep.
the series.
Mhm.
Yoru is
Yep.
night. That's just a
Yep.
word. And Oyogenai, nai means
Must be
not, I guess.
swim.
So Oyoge, I guess, means to swim.
Yep.
There's a little
All
Japanese
right.
lesson in the title of this show. Maybe the most worthwhile thing about it.
I I I enjoy the concept behind this. So the concept of like two girls who like have been somewhat failing in her career, try to bounce back, and like one is really good at singing and the other one really good at painting,
Right.
and the two of them just join up and they have like the very clear motive of jellyfish, and try to do something together despite all the odds, that all the backlash that I did receive before. I That's the concept that I really get behind.
Yeah.
Other things that doesn't go too well in this episode though, but I leave it to you to say everything first. Say your thought first.
Okay. Well, I
Yep.
assume one of the complaints you have is the little bursts of fan service.
Yep. Yep.
Yeah.
I don't know why it had to be there. It's like in the very first 10 second, 10 15 second, and it actually threw me off.
Well, I mean, why does any anime need fan service? It's to hook a specific audience, I guess.
Yeah.
I mean, the scene, or rather, I should say, the shot where you can see down her nightgown is
Yep.
what I found to be pretty distasteful.
Yep.
Um, the stuff where she's in the bath or on her bed, like wearing shorts, that I kind of expect from anime. That I don't really mind. But the aforementioned
Yep.
like negligee shot was just, yeah, it's kind of gross. But
Yep.
sometimes you watch an anime and something like that pops up. That's
Yep.
part and parcel. I
Yep.
don't know. I mean, one of the other negatives, one of the, I kind of have an issue with the show as a whole, like the
Yep.
premise of
All
it.
right.
For
Go on.
example, Kano, the former idol, the blonde girl,
Yep.
her goal is to have like 100,000 followers, you know,
Yep.
and Mahiru, who is the painter, uh, she like shows her social media profile to Kano at a certain point as a way of proving that she's the one who painted the jellyfish mural.
Yep.
Um, and she thinks to herself as she does it, even though it's kind of cringe for me to show my SNS to somebody else, like stuff like this kind of social media stuff. And this does seem to be baked into the premise of the show, where it's about girls who are trying to make it as entertainers, and a way that they're going to do that is using you know the internet to get more eyes on them. Is
Hmm.
just something that I really do not care about.
Yep.
That's probably just because I'm old, but whenever somebody says like my goal is 100,000 followers or something along those lines, I'm just like, well, that's good for you, but I no longer have any interest in associating with you.
Yeah. Well, I think compared to like the industry and what like what they aim, what the models like modern idols want to do, it this one is pretty much low key already. Like you start something on your own and you get like a certain uh, fan base, and you grow that little fan base into like uh to grow more out of that. So I think that pretty much like indie already in terms of the way these girls approach.
Yeah,
I see
but
your point of.
you've said career a couple times now. These are high school girls.
Yep. Well,
They
they
have.
try. Yep. They
I
still
mean,
try
I
to make
guess
it big,
Kano
and
did have a career as an idol, but that in and of itself, I really don't care about.
and
Um,
and I think career is like one of the things that the other girl Mahiru been struggle about, because he said she keeps saying multiple times that she's just a normal girl who like follow through in school, and she have no talent at all, and she just doesn't want to be recognized anymore as a former uh artist.
yeah, But I
So
mean, what has she done apart from win that one art contest and then have
yeah,
her
well,
friends mock the mural and make the decision to hide her passion for art? I
yeah,
don't think
I
we
think
get from this episode any sort of hint that she was more deeply, embedded in the world of street art or painting or anything. She wasn't
yep,
like intricately involved in it and had to wrestle
yep,
herself out of it because of, pressure that she was feeling from her peers or something like that. It really is
and
just kind of a one-off. It all centers around this mural,
yep,
and I just
yep.
found the result of the script being written around that one aspect to feel kind of thin as a result.
Mhm, mhm, mhm. Yep, I can see that, and it also add to the fact that Mahiru's the way she behave in the episode is just so tired to see, so tiresome.
In
She
what way?
just keep in a way that she just keep bring herself down, and she like immediately regret of what she does, and
Oh yeah,
all
when
that.
she keeps saying stuff is cringe. I think 3 different times in this episode she used the word
Yep,
cringe, and that's
yep.
I'm just not really I'm not
Yep.
really down with that, I guess.
And even to the idea that she said at the end that like jellyfish cannot shine by their own, but they just absorb on the light, uh and because of that like they shine. So can Kano be like her jellyfish or something? It's just like, so
No, her
why she have
light.
to.
Mahiru is the
Yeah,
jellyfish. Kano is the light that she's going to absorb.
yeah. So why is the idea of like you have to observe someone else spotlight in order for you to shine?
That was
Why?
very on the nose.
Yeah.
Uh,
Why don't you shine by yourself?
well, I mean, in fairness to her, she probably feels like she's not the sort of person who is suited for the spotlight. Because,
Yeah.
for
Or
example, in that flashback when she brought her friends to see the mural, and they were like, "Well, this is so lame,"
so weird.
she didn't say, I like shut up. I painted
Yep.
this.
Yep.
She just and I mean there are many many scenes like that in this episode where her friends whose faces you typically don't see, to emphasize the fact that they're unimportant, they're just obstacles in Mahiru's road to being a recognized artist. But they're you'll see the back of their heads or their shoulders or something. They'll be in the shot but not focused on, and they'll say, "Oh, blah 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 blah, right, Mahiru?" And she'll be like, "Oh yeah, totally."
Yep.
Which that probably happens 3 4 times.
Yep.
She's not the sort of person who can resist that sort of social pressure. So maybe she
Mhm.
does need somebody else to like give her encouragement or inspiration. But
All right. Yep.
what exactly she's like wanting to do and the way that she's going to do it, I'm just not very interested in.
Yep. And then also the fact that she talking to someone on the phone. Chile, I think. Who is she? Like
Is
we
it
don't really.
Jetty Chan?
Yep. 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 Uh, we
She was
don't
using
really know any.
Discord. I remember that. I
Oh
remember the
yeah.
shot of her, like the low angle shot of her room, with
Yep.
the back of her head obscuring her computer monitor. You could see that she was like on Discord.
Wow.
I saw that, and I did the Leo DiCaprio sit up on the couch and point. She's just like me for real.
Yep. Yeah. We don't know much of the context between her and this girl Julie Chan, right? So like they know before, but they never met in person or something.
Yeah,
Like
they're. I
she
mean, they're
actually.
internet friends, I guess. And
I see.
based on Jetty Chan having that particular name, she must be. She is probably already associated with Kano somehow. Would be my
Yeah.
guess,
Yep.
because Jetty is
Chile.
the name of like the social media account that Kano uses to post her music. from what I remember.
Yeah. Huh.
Now there
Huh.
was a line of dialogue or a conversation between Mahiru and Jetty
Yep.
where Jetty, I keep saying it sounds so weird to say Jetty over and over, but she the way that she responded to Mahiru telling her about this girl indicated to me that she didn't know who Kana was, but perhaps she was just playing dumb or
Yep.
something. I don't know. Maybe because it's
Very
supposed to be a
interesting.
big secret. Actually, that kind of makes, well, no, because Mahiru told her over the course of that conversation that this girl was a former idol.
Yep.
So that wouldn't be a
Oh,
reason why Jelly would have to hold her tongue.
yep. And then she the one who tell the main girl that yeah, I know that incident. Don't you know that? It's been all over the news.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, I don't know what the deal
Well,
is there, and I don't think I really care to find out.
yep. Yep. All right, I put it 8 out of 10.
Yeah. For me, it was number 9.
Fair enough. So we got our result. All right, let's see. So you put 5 for the
Yeah.
last one.
What did you end up here?
6.
6. Okay. We have mostly the same opinions.
Yeah.
The
All
only
right.
big difference is Euphonium.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, I still plan to watch Euphonium season 3. I'll finish it for sure.
Yep.
So pretty
All right.
similar.
Yuru Camp.
I feel like we can probably speed through this one since we're coming up on the 2-hour mark.
Are we? Wow.
Yeah.
Yep. All right, we're doing well. Yeah, Yuru Camp. So anything that you have enjoyed from the first season, from the second season, also apply for the for the first episode of this third season. So
Yeah.
you got like a half of like Green enjoying herself just camping alone, which I really love.
Yeah, the
And
solo
then we
camp
have like
segments are always a lot of fun.
yeah, I agree. And then we have like a segment where like a team uh other teammates just join together and make some silly things, which for me is kind of miss or hit or miss.
What were they making? It was
The
like do it
the thing.
yourself stoves,
Yep,
right?
yep, yep.
You take like a metal can and you cut it
It's not
open
even
and put a burner inside, something like that.
yeah, it's not even the metal can. I think it's like some of these. Yeah, no, I don't
Wasn't
know.
it?
I think it's just like normal can that you drink out of your like water bottle. That's what I think.
No, it wasn't. I mean that doesn't make any sense, right? Because if you lit a flame inside a plastic bottle, it would melt.
Yep, that's true. Yep, it had to be metal.
Yeah, maybe it was just tin,
Yep.
like a Coke can.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was the less interesting part of the episode for sure. What I really
Uh,
appreciated about this episode was the way it intercut Rin's solo camping with flashbacks to the little trip she goes on with her grandfather in the past.
I love that.
Yeah, that was really nice. Like the way that he started a fire manually by,
Yep.
you know, rubbing
Yep.
rubbing a stick into a groove in a larger piece of wood. The same way that he impressed her as a girl by doing that, she impresses another young girl at the campsite where she does it in the present.
And I just love the fact that Green just remember that, and she tried to do that herself. So she tried to like relive some of these early memory that she have. I actually think it was her first camp as well with her grandfather. So like a really very little nice remembrance of him,
Yeah,
of the experience they had together. So
yeah, I
yeah.
think it was the first camping trip, quote unquote camping trip she ever went on, because she
Yep.
seemed to be like kind of unfamiliar or apprehensive
Yep.
in the past, like in that flashback when they go to the campground. She's kind of like, "Why are we here?"
Yep. So
And
really,
Japan's number 1 camping fiend was born that day.
yep. And
Yeah, so that's nice. We also get the little post credits miniature scene where you
the
see
way.
Nadeshiko's childhood friend, whose name is
Yep.
Ayano, I think.
Yeah.
She's texting with Rin, and so they're planning on going on a little camping trip themselves
All
because I
right.
think they
Sorry.
met at some point in season 2.
All right. Sorry, I missed that. So
I
post credit.
I didn't expect that you had seen it.
Yep. Very nice. So yep, some of the issues still pop up, like the way that Green Drive. You can see the CG
Oh yeah.
driving.
To
It
be honest,
always take me out.
yeah. Honestly, to me, that's like part of the show's DNA at this point. And I was
Ah,
wondering because this third season is produced by an entirely different studio. It's under a different
yep.
director. Most of the
Yep.
staff is different.
Yep.
So I wondered, are we going to get like hand drawn motorbike scenes? But no, I mean
Nope.
this show so strongly reminded me of the first 2 seasons. Apart from the different
Yep.
character designs,
Yep.
but they're just like slightly tweaked. Nothing,
Yep.
nothing
Yep.
outrageous.
Yep.
Apart from that, everything's the same. The pine cones still talk in a little squeaky voice.
Whee!
Um, yeah, and there's still really nice lighting. Some of the background shots. And
Yep.
of course, we got the same 3D CG motorbike Rin model
Ah,
that kind
yep.
of like scoots its butt around on the on the Google Maps
Yep.
filtered photo backgrounds, which I have to
Ah,
imagine they're still doing.
yep.
Just making
They
sure
just
not to
have
get
to.
caught this time.
Yeah. Oh my, that's a shame. But well,
I mean,
yes.
it generally looks pretty good. So
Yep. I I will watch it. It especially like the first two season is actually in winter, in your winter. That make a lot of sense. But now it happened in my winter. So like there's more reason for me to watch it, and maybe I get inspired to just do the solo camping just like Green.
isn't it fall for you, not winter?
But it's getting cold now. It feels like
Okay.
winter now.
Yeah. Now it's seasonally
So
appropriate for you. Maybe
yeah,
you'll find that this is the most enjoyable season of the 3 since it matches
hopefully.
your surroundings.
Yep. Hopefully. All right. So that's wrap up our 10 shows for this spring. Is that spring?
Yeah, it is.
Yep.
I don't know that we
Seasons.
ever actually said the word spring,
I
like in
did.
the
I did.
intro
I
or
think
anything.
at the very beginning. I think
Okay,
maybe.
cool. Yep, that's
So
it. We got our 10 shows. The highest ranking shows probably Astro Note, Kaiju number 8, and Karasu wa Aruji,
yep.
and maybe Hibike Euphonium as well.
Yep. Yep.
Oh no, Shuumatsu Train as well. Dang. So we've got quite
All
a
right.
few candidates.
We have Shuumatsu Train as number one. We had Kaiju number 8 as number one.
Yeah, with an average of
Shuumatsu
2.
Train, and then we had between Astronaut and
Hibike Euphonium.
no and Karasu.
No, because Astro Note is 3.5 and Hibike
Yep.
Euphonium
Yep.
is
Yep.
3.5.
Yep.
Karasu is 4.
Yep. 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 Yep.
But
All
that
right.
means we got 5 shows bunched up real tight towards the top.
Yep. Which is really good. I didn't expect that like all the news shows would perform that good. You know.
Yeah. And
I
as we
I
talked
was
about a
on.
little bit towards the start of this episode, there are other ones, some more promising
Yep.
series that we haven't checked
Yep.
out yet, or perhaps that we've seen the first episode of in some cases, which might still
Cool.
offer, some animated pleasures.
Mm.
So looks to be
Yep.
maybe a better than average season overall.
Yep. Hopefully they like they maintain their quality throughout the course of 3 months.
That is always the question.
Yeah. And we will check back with you in at the end of this season to talk about 3 shows.
Yeah, we'll see you then.
All right. See you then.